What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski and I'm back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we are going to be going through all of the brand new stages of the brand new Neo COLISEUM X Drake character. So first of all, before we actually get into each of the stage breakdowns, including the zero stamina version of this dungeon, let's actually talk about the unit itself and what is different between this character and the previous X Drake COLISEUM character. So first of all, the main difference is the fact that he actually has an additional socket spot and he becomes a quick character. So previously, the only other thing about the other character is that he was a Psi unit, and this one is now a quick character. And as I mentioned, the other one had 3 socket spots, whereas this guy has 4 socket spots. In terms of their statistics, the current one you're seeing right now is not at max level, but at max level, the Neo version has 8 additional HP, has 5 additional attack, and the recovery does stay the same, and the cooldown is minus by 3 in comparison to the original version of COLISEUM X Drake. So what does this character actually do? So the captain ability of X Drake will go ahead and boost all characters' attack by 2.5 times if your health is low at the start of the adventure or at the start of the turn, which is the exact same as the previous COLISEUM X Drake, but the major difference with this character is in terms of his special ability. So as we mentioned, it actually will go ahead and max out at 9 turns in comparison to the 12 turn cooldown of the other one, but this one will go ahead and deal major quick damage to one enemy, and it will also lock your crew slots for 1 turn and changes his own orb into quick. If your HP is high, he will change recovery, tandem, empty, block, and bomb orbs into matching orbs, but if your health is low, he will just change adjacent orbs into matching. So this is a pretty different special in comparison to the original X Drake. The original one would deal the side damage, and if your HP was below 30%, you would get adjacent orbs matching. He does not make his own orb matching, and he does an orb lock, and he doesn't have the additional effect is if your health is high, you get really powerful orb manipulation. So this character is a straight up upgrade to the previous X Drake character. If you have this character, there is literally no reason to have the original COLISEUM X Drake at all. In addition to this, this character actually gains a crewmate ability, which the original COLISEUM X Drake did not have, and it will go ahead and boost crew's base attack by 40 when your HP is low, likely to be at a 30% threshold. So overall, he is a straight up upgrade from the original COLISEUM X Drake, so make sure to go ahead and farm him up. He will be a trusty character in the upcoming treasure map coming up in August, so make sure you go ahead and at least get 1 copy of this guy in order for you to get an additional point booster trusty character for the treasure map. But now that we've gone ahead and broken down the brand new character, let's go ahead and get straight into each of the variations of Neo COLISEUM X Drake. So the first of these variations that we are going to be talking about is the Slasher variation. So with each of these variations, we'll discuss the mini-boss, which is going to be Gladius, and then the final boss, which is going to be X Drake. Gladius on the Slasher version of this dungeon has about 200,000 HP and attacks every turn for 9,000 damage, and he has about 150,000 defensive value. His preemptive attack will cut your crew's health by 70%, and he also has a defensive effect up for 2 turns, which is his actual 150,000 defense value, and he'll actually go ahead and shuffle all of your orbs into bomb orbs and cancel all special effects after the first turn. So this is where we're using the Diamante from the Lucy batch. He's an extremely good unit here. Other units you could use are like Vanderdecken, who will go ahead and get rid of special silence on your crew, and also the quick rare recruit Violet will also help in that regard as well. I don't think there is at the current time, I don't think there's a 3-turn special bind remover for Slashers at this current time, so having Diamante is kind of nice because he can delay Gladius as well. Don't get him below 20% though, because he will deal a lot of damage, and also below 50% he does do a lot of damage as well. The final boss, which is going to be X Drake, has about 8 million health, and he attacks every turn for 15,000 damage. He's firstly going to change all your orbs into empty orbs, and he also has a full debuff protector, and he rewinds your friend captain for 4 turns. So make sure to use your friend captain special prior to reaching this final room in order to actually use it. And also, if you go ahead and recover at all, he will transform all your orbs into empty, so that is something to take into account as well. So because of his insanely high health value, I would highly suggest bringing health cutters like Raid Mihawk if you guys don't have Treasure Mode Mihawk or 6+ Zoro. You need some pretty solid type boosters here in order to deal lots of damage here, and also having some Dex characters is also going to be quite beneficial for taking down X Drake on the Slasher variation. But now let's actually quickly talk about the Fighter variation. So for fighters, we have Gladius once again, and he has 500,000 HP and he attacks every turn for 9,000 damage. His preemptive attack this time will go ahead and cut your crew's attack power down to 1% for 2 turns, and after the first turn of attacks, he's going to cancel all special effects and transform all your orbs into bomb. So everything is the exact same except for that preemptive attack. He doesn't go ahead and special bind and health cut, he just has attack down for your crew for 2 turns. X Drake here is actually quite annoying. He does have 5 mob characters that surround him. He has all of your orbs will be transformed into block orbs. He has a 20 hit combo barrier, and he does have full delay protection. So because he has delay protection, we can go ahead and use a defense down conditional booster in the 20th anniversary Robin. She is exceptional here as she does get rid of all of the block orbs, killing the mob characters, as well as providing a conditional boost for defense down, which both Rob Lucci and also 20th anniversary Frankie do provide on this specific team. And with this specific variation, X Drake only has 4.2 million HP, and he does 12,000 damage every turn, so he is a little bit weaker in comparison to the Slasher variation, but having conditional boosters and a way to get rid of block orbs is going to be extremely beneficial here, so this is why the Lucy team is extremely viable for this specific dungeon. In addition to all this, if you go ahead and manipulate your orbs in any way, all of your orbs will be transferred into tandem orbs, which furthermore solidifies why 20th anniversary Robin is so good, because if your captain is a fighter character as a crewmate ability, she will go ahead and make all tandem counters beneficial. So she is one of the best units to use against the fighter version of Neo Coliseum X Drake. And now we move on to the last one, which is going to be the Cerebral variation. So for the Cerebral variation, you 100% will not really need, but it helps significantly if you at least have a friend captain limited rare recruit Hawkins, because what will happen on the Gladius stage is that he will paralyze every unit on your crew for 7 turns, and then another one single unit on your crew will get an additional 8 turns of paralysis. So having Basil Hawkins, when you activate his special, if your captain is Cerebral, all paralysis is removed completely on your side of the field. So having him is exceptional for this. And then we move on to X Drake. So X Drake has 3.2 million, and he has a 12,000 attack damage, and he has a delay protector, and also the fact that he actually changes his color into an int character, meaning that having Psi units is going to be way more beneficial this time around. Also, something to note as well is that if you activate an attack or an orb boost on X Drake, he will cancel all special effects, so you cannot maintain any orb boost or type boost. This is why I have Rare Recruit Wanda to carry in a 3-turn type boost into the final room. Also, when you defeat X Drake, he does a 20,000 damage death hit to your team, which is why I highly recommend Legend Robin if you have her, or to go ahead and use an int damage nullification special like the Mirage Tempo Nami or like the Kimono Nami, like I use in this instance here, to completely nullify the effects of his 20,000 hit damage. Obviously, if you have a way to get around that, otherwise you can use that as well. If you have a V2 Rayleigh, he's also a really solid unit to go ahead and use as well. But now let's move on to the final thing in this video, which is going to be the 0 stamina challenge fight against Neo Coliseum X Drake. So first of all, big shout out to Alex Kim. The link to his channel and video in particular will be in the description down below. This was his team that he made when this came out on the Japanese version of One Piece Treasure Cruise, utilizing the double Hawken friend captain as well as your own captain. You have Invasion Shanks here as well, the Dex Rare Recruit Shirahoshi, the Quick Rare Recruit Nami, and also the 3-day 2-year Frankie, who is actually quite useful for the fight against Gladius. And honestly, for the most part with this particular fight, it is pretty straightforward. There are only like 3 different stages that are extremely annoying to deal with. The first one is Foxy, the second one is Gladius, and then the last one is X Drake. Foxy, Gladius, and also X Drake are the 5th, 6th, and 7th stage. So for the first 4 stages of this fight, it is extremely easy and you don't really need to use many specials, if any specials at all. It's very, very straightforward. But once you get to the Foxy stage, it gets really annoying, because what will happen is that he starts blowing away characters on your crew for a certain amount of turns, and having characters that can provide some sort of healing factor is exactly why Shirahoshi is on this team. Because when your characters are blown away, you lose all of the health value that they would add to your crew. So every time Foxy attacks you, you need to make sure that you can recover your health somehow. So this is why Deck Shirahoshi is so important for this team in particular. And if you are going to be using Shirahoshi in this particular team at all on the 0 stamina fight, make sure she is in the middle right specific position, because that is the character that will be swapped to your captain first of all, and then every other character will be blown away. You guys will see once we get to the Foxy stage how annoying he actually is. So having the fact that you can have Shirahoshi, who provides 7k healing for the next 3 turns, allows you to tank multiple hits from the Foxy fight. Now, to my knowledge, there is actually a couple of other different variations that you can go ahead and use against the 0 stamina fight. There is one variation with the double Hawkins, and it uses these very similar units, except it's got like Wanda, it has COLISEUM Pedro, and it has an unevolved V2 Legend Rayleigh. So if you do have an unevolved V2 Legend Rayleigh, he can be used in this specific fight as well. But you know, not a lot of people are going to be keeping unevolved legends, which is obviously fair enough. You guys are seeing on screen right now the Foxy fight and exactly what happens. So make sure to activate the Shirahoshi special on the 2nd turn of that particular effect, because you want to make sure that you can have enough healing to tank as many hits as possible. And that's exactly why you need to do that. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, why the hell do you need to bring a 3-day 2-wife Frankie to this particular fight? Now, the reason for that is because on stage 6, we have Gladius. Now, what Gladius will do is that when you actually kill him off, he does 33,000 damage to your crew. So having someone that can tank damage from a quick enemy, or just have a really strong damage reduction effect or special ability, that's exactly what you need. Now, if you have an unevolved V2 Legend Rayleigh, he's a very solid unit for that, because you'll already be at low HP from this specific stage here. You'll see, because of Foxy being health is extremely low because of all the characters being blown away. So with that in mind, you can actually use a V2 Legend Rayleigh, unevolved version of course, to tank the hit from the Gladius effect when he actually dies. Now, one thing to also note is that you are poisoned here, so you cannot stay on this room for that long, because the poison does like 1200 damage each turn, so you cannot stay on this room. So you have to kill him like as soon as possible. And then when we get to the final room against X-Drake, he has 5.2 million HP, he has a 21,000 attack damage, and he also attacks every 2 turns. He has a delay protector, all of your orbs will be converted into empty, and your friend captain will be paralyzed for 15 turns. Your captain and your friend captain are paralyzed for 15 turns, so having Basil Hawkins here to transform the empty orbs into matching, as well as getting rid of paralysis, is extremely useful. And also the fact that you can only activate 1 special per turn on this final room against X-Drake. So you take 1 turn to deal damage, and then on the final turn, all of your orbs are converted into strength, in which Basil Hawkins as a captain will treat as beneficial to Cerebral characters, and you can activate your orb boost and win with that. So that has been my full breakdown of each of the stages here for Neo COLISEUM X-Drake. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you guys have enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and smack the like button down below. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.